Welcome, Mami, to how to use ChatGPT, GPT-4, and also the large learning models in your enterprise workshop. Okay, so I think we will do about an half an hour to 45 minutes uh, uh, presentation. And then after that, Shruti will be doing a live, workshop where you will see how you can use your own uh, data with ChatGPT. Okay. Here is the high level, agenda, what we will be doing. So we will be talking about what is large learning models are, and we will be specifically talking about the Microsoft Open AI. Okay. And then we will be talking about how to use OpenAI securely with your own private data. For those people who are not familiar with vector uh, database, we will be, talking about what is vector database. And then finally, we will have a live workshop where we will show you this complete thing working, basically end to end. Okay, so we are a company based in Chicago. We have been in business for about uh, 20 plus years. We are about 1,500 plus people. We are an ISO certified company. We are also the winner of best place to work in Chicago for the past many years. So something about us. Going to the next slide. So I think before I start, I mean, I just want to get an overview that how many people are familiar with large learning models and ChatGPT, and are you familiar with the vector database, and what comes to your mind when you think about the future possibilities of using ChatGPT, GPT-4, and large learning models in your, enterprise? So if we can start with you and I mean, do you have any knowledge in LLMs or ChatGPT?
First, have some experience in ChatGPT, doing something on Bard as well. No experience in vector database. When it comes to ChatGPT, my company has Bard, any ChatGPT or Bard like
Bard is the same, yeah.
and I think that's better in most enterprises.
Yes,
If you
yeah.
want your documents to be shared, that becomes ChatGPT or Microsoft's data. So I think that's where we are.
Okay, awesome. And then uh, what comes to your mind when you think about the future possibilities of using ChatGPT, GPT-4 in large language
We
model?
want to use it's as simple as talking to a database and getting the records, right?
Yeah,
Typically, you can go to the MSDN site and get that data for you, or you can actually ask ChatGPT or Bard. One of my primary experiences has been that Bard seems to be much better in terms of generating code,
yes,
right? And the code is much more cutting edge, so to speak. But ChatGPT is not there yet, probably because the data sets are not there. But again, that's my personal experience. That's just a very small subset of code generation. Right? So,
code generation. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, awesome, great. Yeah. Do you want to go next?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm Tom Granny with Zuma Corporation. We're actually a neighbor across the street.
Oh, okay, awesome, great. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
What is my experience? I know the terms and I played a little bit with it.
Okay,
but
awesome.
nothing to a
No,
level.
nothing to learn. Okay.
And I have not used vector database
Okay.
at all. The future, wow, that's open-ended because when you talk about AI, anyone's jumping on AI, they're not sure they all know what to do with it.
Yes.
And they're all trying to figure out their own pieces.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's why, actually Scott, who works with me,
Yes.
we're here today to learn more and
Okay.
then maybe see how that fits into our solutions.
Our solutions. Okay. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Is the similar stuff?
I'm the architect.
Oh, okay. Architect. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Great. Yeah.
So, yeah, I've attended various sessions on stuff, and AI is still largely a solution looking for a problem. Because, and one of the real big problems is a lot of these really complex models is nobody really understands what's going on in the middle.
Yeah.
And so the problems are gonna come in Because I remember a big thing at AWS was figuring out how you can validate the model and make sure it's doing what you think it's doing.
Yeah.
And not coming at the correct solution in some really weird way.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, no, I think you're right. Please.
We sell lighting online and lighting. I'm familiar with ChatGPT. I played with Bard, OpenAI. We use it for programming. We use it for copy, for marketing, SEO, optimization. But we are also interested in using this for, I don't know, customer facing issues. So, creating database where we can answer questions or be proactive when it's a product issue. Some logistics, possibly. And yeah, everything else.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for learning. Yes, please.
I'm Will Quinn. I look at strategy for a company called Infor. We're a global software company.
394. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I didn't see your logo on the slide.
It is somewhere else. Yeah.
So in my role, I've used ChatGPT and Bard quite a bit for language. I create a lot of content and thought leadership articles, things like that. It's great for making things faster, just taking items and putting in tables or for my use. I know we're using ChatGPT to interface with some of our ERPs to create different solutions, and we've got our own artificial intelligence. So I think the possibilities are unlimited.
Yes, absolutely. Basically, and I mean, I will be showing a lot of, use, cases. So you can also see that, later on. Yeah. So, yes, please.
Hi, I'm Sean. Global freight forwarder. Started to play a little bit with GPT. I think, for us, I think the real advantage is that we have tremendous amount of we do pretty well presenting that data, but being able to actually make decisions with that data or show our customers things to help them make informed decisions about, how to, effectively move freight is where we see the advantage for us, is being able to take that data to make decisions, maybe also from a proposal standpoint, from a how to bid jobs quickly and effectively. So that's
That would be good, yeah.
increasing our win ratio, that type of stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hey, Mark Chop, I'm with the Army Research Lab, so kind of like a corporate R&D lab for the Army. I've been using it since the day it came out, and it's almost like a daily partner anymore. A lot of that is because, for 10% that are remote workers, I mean, you can't stop by the office of your neighbor to ask questions. And
Mine
so
also, yeah.
it can answer a lot of simple things. It can be somebody you can bounce questions off of, but I've also used it for code. Syntax keeps changing as you switch from language to language. So can you help give me a starter? And yeah, it's not as good as I would hope. So Google Bard, if that's any better, maybe I need to try some of that as well. But yeah, that's my experience with it. And for the future, I mean, we're looking at it as almost a translator, and not necessarily like machine translation of languages, but can you translate it into syntax that robots can understand, for
That would
instance?
be a good use case.
Can you replace an ontology layer, which takes 10 years to put in place, with ChatGPT or some large language model that can serve as kind of an encoder or translator? So those are the sort of things where we're looking at this. Obviously, if it's a soldier overseas, you don't want these large language models and rely on the cloud. So how can you scale them down also to smaller, more at the edge sort of applications? But yeah. So just interested in seeing what everybody's talking about.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think these are all RC employees, so yeah, if you can.
Hi, my name is Jeet Swami, and actually, I'm a graduate student from the DePaul University. So I'm here to explore the things that how this ChatGPT comes into the enterprise model, and for the like experience about the ChatGPT. Like as a student, we use the ChatGPT for like decoding over the code. Whenever we write the code and we get some error, we can just paste the code and like we have to solve the query, like how it will come get an error
You can,
and that
yeah,
things.
you
Yeah.
do that. Okay, awesome, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining.
In the commerce world, the whole idea of creating product descriptions. So this issue we have with distributors and resellers and
Multi-level, yeah.
complex channels, superseding part numbers, and then maybe being able to use ChatGPT to create automatically product descriptions and cut
Awesome
down
use
something
case,
that
yeah.
sometimes takes months and
Awesome,
months.
awesome,
So-
great, yeah.
Hi, I'm Richard. I work for early stage startup. The name of the company is Bicycle.io, where we're trying to merge business and software into one thing. So what's interesting about this is our platform is reading real-time events, but even if we give business insights to normal people, we'll inundate them. So we need a better way of delivering business insights to normal people. And LLM is a perfect solution. So I'm here to learn. I live 30 minutes from here. First time I actually drove away from my home. I work from my home. So first time in years, I drove from my home and it's like, I couldn't even estimate traffic. I was like, wait a minute, what is traffic? And it's like, so it's fun. Thanks for
Thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, like, for this valuable feedback. So appreciate it a lot. Okay, so I think we can start now. So let's, I mean, find out that what our large language models are, and I mean, we have like, many varieties. I mean, we have like Lambda from Facebook. I mean, we have Llama from, Google. We have ChatGPT, which I think everybody knows. Okay, so large language models are voracious readers, right? Or what it means that they basically read code, I mean, read books, I mean, read chats, I mean, Wikipedia, every single thing which you can, think of. So, I mean, they are just continuously reading, okay? So, I mean, they are trying to build a statistical understanding of the language structure. So, how many people have seen this, picture before, Wheel of Fortune? So if somebody wants to try to guess this, I will give Starbucks a gift card. I mean, whoever can, basically, another feather in your cap. That's the one. Yeah, in your cap, in your hat is also a good one. In your hat, no, in your hat or in your cap. I think that will work. Yeah. So I think, what is the, I mean, this problem out here is that the ChatGPT will just try to fill this, right? I mean, ChatGPT won't know that what it means, right? So, but the right, basically answer is like, like you said, another feather, in your cap. So if I go to the large language model official, uh, definition, you can see out here is that the large language, I mean, this is the whole thing, but if I just go to the main, points of it, right? It says that it learns from a large corpus of human written text, predict what words are most likely to come next, giving a particular context, which is determined by the preceding words in the text. Selects the most likely word to generate as the next word in the sequence. And I think that is what was going on. Yes, please.
You send it back out after.
Absolutely, yes, I can share with you. Yeah. So, and anybody knows, I mean, like, what are some of the shortcomings of the large learning model, especially the ChatGPT? Yeah, I think that is one of them. Hallucinating. What something else?
It's biased.
It is biased. Yeah, also maybe. Yeah, yeah. It depends. I mean, like, how it is trained, right? That is what I mean. Yeah. Who was that? That was you. Okay, that was you. Thank you. That was the answer. So, so I think it is basically the problem is that you don't know what you don't know, right? So if it doesn't know, I mean, that particular answer, it won't. So if you ask, I mean, like, Chat GPT right now that who won FIFA World Cup, 2022, it will not be able to, basically answer. And why it won't be able to answer? Because it is trained till September, 2021. So anything beyond that it won't know about it, right? So so ChatGPT is not just the only one, like he said, like, there are other large language models available out there. I mean, there is GPT, there is Palm by Google, there is Llama by Facebook, and then there are MT, which is Matillion, which is by, basically NVIDIA. So there are a lot of large language models available besides ChatGPT. But I mean, in this workshop, I mean, like, we will be focusing on ChatGPT, OpenAI. This is just to let you know that Netflix got their 100 million users in about uh, 10 years. ChatGPT got that same number of users in 10 uh, days. So I mean, you can see the number of users ChatGPT got as compared to Netflix. So coming back to the OpenAI ChatGPT, these are all the models available within OpenAI. Okay. I mean, we will be talking about the GPT 3.0, which is out here. Just a quick word on pricing. So if you want to know about the pricing of ChatGPT, it is I mean, like, based on 1,000 tokens, and you can, I mean, think of tokens as basically piece of words. So 1,000 token is about 750 words. So this particular page, I mean, like, which you are, it's about 30 uh, tokens. And GPT 3.5 Turbo, they have in charge you 0.002 for 1,000 tokens. Okay.
Have you seen that the price is coming down as newer models are coming out? Like that's something that's happening?
Yes. So right now, I think the 3.5 is there. 4.0 is available, but you cannot use it. Like, basically the API is not available for GPT 4.0.
As more competition becomes.
It should, yeah, it should, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think that is a good feedback here. So, I mean, how many people have read this book, War and Peace? So, I mean, War and Peace has about 5,000 words in it. So, I mean, it is about 3 megabytes in size. So, if I have to train, like, process ChatGPT, it will cost me $1.56. Daily, we generate about 328 million terabytes of data. So if you want to train GPT on that, that will cost you. Can somebody read this number? How much it is? That is $17 trillion. So if you want to train in one day, I mean, like, we generate about 328 million terabytes of data. So to train ChatGPT on it, it will cost you about $170 trillion. So I mean, it is not feasible for one, basically company to basically create large learning models and then train it and deploy it. So what we should do, like what like, company A, company B, company C should, I mean, how can they get the benefit of large learning models, ChatGPT? So what are some key business requirements to use ChatGPT in enterprises? So I mean, we work with a lot of different CIOs, directors, senior directors. I mean, like, their main thing is that, okay, we want to use ChatGPT, but we want to use with our own databases, not with the public database. ChatGPT is just trained till September, 2021, but we get, new data, basically every day. So we want to get fresh data, basically every day. We want to combine the keyword search with the semantic search. So, I mean, like, that is some of the requirements which we got. And finally, I mean, like, we want to have data privacy. We don't want ChatGPT to either know what we are basically asking, and we don't want to also uh, have our data on the ChatGPT.
So I have a question.
So how do
Can you
we
hear?
do that? So, like I
I have
said,
a
that I mean, like,
question.
you have a couple of choices. Either you build your own ChatGPT in your, company. I mean, now that is a very uh, high budget solution, because to, like, train ChatGPT, it took about 1,000 GPUs. The, I mean, price of one GPU is like thousands of dollars. So if you want to, like, like have a ChatGPT sort of a large learning model in your company, it will be pretty costly. And plus you need people with data science and also deep learning skills. Second option is that you can take ChatGPT. I mean, you might know that Microsoft OpenAI is now, basically Azure OpenAI. You can get a ChatGPT replica, and then you can train it with your own, data. But the problem is to, like, train it is not as simple. I mean, like, you can train it wrong, and plus, I mean, the cost of your own, basically LLM, that is very high. So what is my third solution is? My third solution is that how can I use the public OpenAI service which is currently available, and I show you that to, like, process about 5,000 words, it is about $1.50. So it's not that much costly. So how do I do that? But keeping in mind, I don't want to share my question or my data with, basically anybody. I want the fresh, data. So all of those, business requirement. So for me and for most of the companies, I think this third option is the option which I want to go with.
Go with the third option. Can you set a price cap? For example, I'll only pay $1,000 for it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, when you go to the Azure, basically, OpenAI. So I have it is set up that I want to just, use about $500 monthly. So once you reach like about 450, that will send you, a reminder. Yeah. So I mean, you can, I mean, do that. Now the problem with, like, using that third option is that when you call that service, right, you will send some, data with it. Now that data cannot be more than 40 pages of data, because we are working with a company, a supply chain company right now, and they want to, like, they want to have this reporting system where they can ask, like, questions that, okay, show me all the customers with the highest revenue last month. And I want to take the question, I want to pull the data of mine, and then I have to send it to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT can, response back. But sometimes my data goes beyond the 40 pages. So I think that's so I mean, this is a a problem which you will see. So how do you solve this, right? So this is what happens in most of the, basically, organizations. So in the current model, I mean, you have some sort of a company website where your, customers come in, either they to, like, they come to your site to check, uh, you know, I mean, uh, to, like, check some, order on something or like, anything, and you have a firewall, and then all of your database is like, sitting behind the firewall, and then also your own company, employees, they basically come to your systems, and I mean, you use Slack, Google Drive, customer support tickets. This is what you have right now. Now, if you want to use the Chat GPT, okay, so this is how the new model will look like. So all of your data sources which you have, right? Your data warehouses, your OLAP, your other Microsoft SharePoint data, intranet, all of those data, you will move it to something which we call vector DB. And I mean, we will be going through a whole section. What is vector, database is. We will be going through that shortly. So what will happen that if your end customer comes, they will come to either ask, like, they will ask that, yeah, show me how do I solve this particular problem, right? So they will ask this question. It will go to your database, your vector DB, and your vector DB will, like, get them the context. So the context plus the question will then go to the OpenAI, and then the OpenAI, with all this large language model capability, it will then respond back to you. Okay. And I think we will go through this whole workshop also, so you will know this inside out. Okay. So just as a conceptual view again, so if you have a customer, right, who is like asking a question, what are the key aspects of the company's 401k policy for an employee in my location, and how do I sign up for it? I mean, without ChatGPT, he cannot do this, right? Because right now we only support, keyword search. That is one keyword like 401k, and you will just go and search for it, and I mean, it will just find something similar, and then it will reply it to you. Right now, none of the company which I know supports this sort of, that people can just come to their website and they can ask any questions, and it can reply to their own personal uh, data. So I mean, basically ask the question, it will go to the vector search, the vector, database, which we will go through it shortly. And then the vector database is basically powered by all the different internal uh, databases. It will go to the vector search, and then it will show you your question. So just to summarize again all these steps. So step one is like prepare data for a vector search, perform vector search, and leverage the large learning models. Okay, so why do we need vector DB? Okay. So if I go to Google right now, no, sorry, if I go to my website right now, and I search for wine for seafood, okay, it will find me no product found, because the current legacy search, right, it doesn't support semantic search. But if I go to a vector database, and if I search for wine for seafood, it will return me back with the right, product set. Okay. So if I go to Google, right, and if I go to Google and if I search for what color of wine is Chardonnay, so this question is very, basically abstract. How did Google find exactly this data node? How can we predict this relationship? And how to do this same thing with your own data, and how so this is so fast? I mean, this result, like, came back within 2 seconds or so. This is because Google also uses vector database. So behind Google, you have vector, database. So how can all the companies can also use vector uh, databases, right? So how to achieve this with your own data, and then also in an easy, fast, secure, and scalable way. So I think these are all the different vector uh, databases available right now. Okay, so I mean, starting from the native vector DB, you have, you know, PyCon, Viviet, Zilils. There are also non-relational vector databases like Elastic, Neo4j, and then there are also relational vector database like single store. In this workshop, I mean, which Shruti will be doing today, we will be using a Viviet. So what you will do is that you will go to Viviet website, you will download, you will sign up for a 15-day trial, and then that will give you the whole vector, you know, DB, and then you will move some of your data to there, and then you will do similar search. So I think you will see that how fast and how it works behind the scene. Okay, so once you finalize that, okay, I will go with one of these vector databases, then how does the vector databases works behind the scene? So the way vector databases works is that it can store anything. It can be either a relational database thing, or it can be either a file, a video file, you know, anything, right? It uses machine learning models inside which like comes out of the box in the vector DB, and then it will save it as an array format. So I mean, it basically takes anything, any text, any video, you know, basically, you know, audio file, and it converts it to an, you know, basically array. Then it basically puts that array in the right dimension. So all the fruits in one location, all the you know, basically animals in one location, right? So this is how it works, like, you know, behind the scene of vector DB. And then once you do a search, right? Like once I go to Google and when I say what is the color of Chardonnay, right? So it will convert that search to a vector again. And I mean, that is all being done by a machine learning model. And then it will go to this particular 3-dimension model. It will find all the relative, uh, you know, search, and then it will reply back the result. So I think this is what Google is also doing behind the scene. Any questions so far? Yeah.
And maybe your data comes in so many different forms, though. I mean, when you look at like unstructured data, some text, some images, some videos, how does it collapse all of those onto a common vector?
Yeah, so I think that is no, I think that is a very, very good question, right? So, uh, and I think because these vector databases, they have a machine learning model, which you will see in the workshop, right? It is called something called, embedding. So they basically take any file format and they convert it into it. So, I mean, you don't have to do anything. It is just a black box for you, right? So you are like buying Viviet service and they know how to convert everything for you. So you don't have to go and create that machine learning model for you, right? So you just put the file in, it will do everything, and it's completely a black box for you. But if you want to see that machine learning code, I'm not sure if they are sharing that, because that is something their own thing, right? So. Okay. Okay. So, and then this is a nice thing to so when like you said, right, that I mean there are many uh, kind of files, right? So what the vector database is doing, it is basically putting it in the right shelf, right? So if you take the example of a supermarket, right? If you want milk, right, that if I go to the milk aisle, I will find milk in there, right? So this is this is exactly what vector database is doing, but it is not so simple. Vector databases is not two-dimensional. It is like thousands of dimension. So, but I mean, for this, this presentation, I'm just showing it to you so you can follow that. Okay, so coming back to our main thing. So now we know what is a vector databases, and we know the large learning models, right? So how do we now make them work together, right? So I think somebody, I mean, like, said that we have a B2C or a B2B shopping cart, and we don't, instead of people going to our shopping cart and just doing, keyword search, they can also just go to the site and ask that I'm going to a party and I'm looking for a men's shirt, right? So if they can write that sentence, I want some good results to, like, come back, right? So if you want to achieve something like that, you can do that now utilizing the vector DB and the ChatGPT. Okay, so what we are doing out here is that we are taking our own data, and then we are moving it to the VBAT database. And then when you send a question, right? Now the VBAT database will have all of your company data, your CRM, your supply chain, I mean, whatever you want there, right? Then based on your question, it will like filter out the right context. Because remember, in the third option of the ChatGPT, you have a limitation of only 40 pages. You cannot send more than 40 pages of data. If you send more than that, it will not work. Right? So it will filter out that data, and then it will send the prompt and the question to ChatGPT, and the ChatGPT will send you the customized answer. As of March 1st, 2022, Microsoft said they will not store any prompt or any context in their database. You can go to the Microsoft site, you can see that. So from the data privacy view, if you're calling the OpenAI function, they will not store either the data or the context. Okay, so let's go through some of the demo use cases. So I think one use cases, I mean, like, a lot of people are like, looking for a lot of use cases. So one use cases could be, what are the troubleshooting steps for? So if you are a cycle manufacturer or something like that, you need to have a thing where people can just come to your site, ask questions, and I mean, it can get the relevant response back, right? And not just some gibberish. The image search, do you sell black versus neck shirts that looks like this? So I mean, like, with this search, I mean, like, you can have these sort of search. And also personalization, what 70-inch TV do you have on sale, right? And then a sentiment analysis, that, I mean, is this person happy, not happy? So I think these are some of the rapidly search. Okay, so today, if you go to any B2C or a B2B commerce site, if you do a search, PVC plumbing irrigation system, this works today. You want to go here tomorrow. What material lists and tools do I need to build an irrigation system for my 1 acre backyard in Detroit, Michigan? So it knows that you are calling from Michigan. It knows Detroit. It will reply you back with the right parts which is available in that location only. So, and to achieve, like, something like this, that framework which I showed you, you have to do that. I mean, you need to get a vector database, and you need to work with the LLM.
Be interesting to see if you could use OpenAI or ChatGPT to create some sort of pen.
Yeah.
Like gold.
Yes. PIM.
Pen.
Product information. Yeah, I think that will be awesome. Yeah.
It seems like ChatGPT stops just short of recommending anything commercial. Like, I mean, if you go down these paths of, I'd like a birthday gift for my 14-year-old son or something, it's like, well, it might like categories of this, but you can't almost bait it into like giving you, it's like
Yeah.
Nikes over Reeboks or
Yeah.
something like that. Like, is there any?
Yes, I know. I think, yeah, I think there is a slide for it, and I think I forgot to mention that. So if I go back to this one, right, this Google one, right? So Google only has 0.4% of the whole data. 96% is in the, basically different company, right? Databases, which you don't have it. So, I mean, the Google is just searching on whatever is, currently available. So the 96% of data which is not available to Google, I mean, it won't, I mean, it doesn't know about it, right? And I think that is where this will be very useful, that because this is your own data, and then if you do the search, it can bring back the right result to the data. So coming back to, okay, so, and then I think similar to like, besides search, right? If I have any government site or like, or my company human resource site, and I mean, today if I want to know anything about the 401k, I will like, do a search like this. But tomorrow I can do like, what are the key aspects of the company's 401k policy for an employee in my location, and how do I enroll? And it will give me the right search result. Here is another more complex scenario. And what I'm doing out here is that, I'm getting the call data, the voice recordings from my call center. And then I am converting that data from speech to text. And then I'm using the Azure OpenAI to do sentiment, basically analysis. And I'm creating a Power BI report, and I'm also saving all the data to my CRM. So I know that how many people were happy in the call, how many were not happy in the call, and get all sort of data. So this thing, something like this can be done pretty, easily. I think we will now go to the workshop piece. So Shruti.
I'll be talking today about customizing the large language models using the vector databases. The use case I'll be talking about today is we have a sample wiki data consisting of 100K articles. So we'll be importing that data to our VV8 vector database, and we'll be performing tasks like some prompt search and uh, basic word search, hybrid search, and vector search to generate some filtered relevant documents. The generated responses and the prompt would be sent to our language model to give us a customized response. So I'll walk you through my code to show you how it works. So yeah, so initially, like we mentioned, the vector data, we'll be using the VV8 as our vector database. VV8 is an open source library, so we can create an account, and we'll be installing the dependencies. So in this way, we can interact with all the functionalities of the VV8. Then the first thing we have to do here would be configuring the VV8 cloud instance. So to configure, we need to obtain the API key. Upon getting the API key, then we will start working with the data. So to work with the data, we'll be importing the pandas library. Uh, like I mentioned, the data that we are using, the Wikipedia data consisting of 100K articles, we'll read this data through our Parquet file, and then maybe let's see display a sample of 5 rows to see how our columns looks like. So our data will be consisting of columns like ID, title, text, URL, all of these things. Then after this, so till here, what we have done is we have uh, like we have the 100K wiki articles, and we are sending that to our VV8 cloud. So then to do that, we'll be creating a database schema. We'll be creating an article schema on the vector database. We'll also be defining the modules, like if we are using the Cohere module, the multilingual module, or the OpenAI, we'll be defining all that in our schema. Then we will be defining the batch size. We are setting our batch size to 100K for this particular example. Then we will import all of this to our vector database. Then using the aggregate method here, we will check if all the objects have been uploaded to our vector database. Basically, here we will be defining the methods to do the search, semantic search on our vector database. So today we'll be doing all the following searches. We'll be doing a vector search, a classic word search, hybrid search, and generative search. The first three search mechanisms that we'll be doing, vector, classic word search, hybrid, they'll be using our vector database. While for the generative search is where we'll be using our large language models. So coming to the word search is nothing but it'll look search through the articles for the specific keyword. Suppose I'm looking for the word avocado in my data set. So it'll search through my articles for this word and it'll display. So it's pretty much like a keyword search. Coming to semantic search does not require a specific keyword search. It generates responses based on the context and meaning that we have captured in our vector embeddings. Suppose in this particular example, my query says a programming language used for machine learning. It doesn't specifically search for the keyword, but based on the context and meaning captured about it, it gives us relevant responses like Python, C++, all of this. So we have more examples like this. And also our semantic search, the vector database supports multiple languages. It could recognize multiple languages. Suppose, let's say I'm searching for great movies in Chinese. It could recognize and it gives us the relevant results. So yeah. Oh, for the semantic search. So for the semantic search, we have all the properties defined too. So like I showed you above, when we created the schema, we have some fields and properties, right? So we'll be defining all that in our method here. And so it will fetch the relevant data from those fields. Then Then we have the generative search. So the generative search is nothing but we can generate the response from the data that's present in our vector database. For example, in this particular example, let's say I have a generate prompt that's asking, write me some interview questions. I can ask title and also how the title would answer them. Here is some information about this. This is pretty much similar to how we write scripts to the chat GPT to provide us with some information. So what we are asking here is we are asking the chat GPT to write us some interview questions where I can ask the famous basketball players uh, about any information. So how this works is we will be initiating a query to fetch all our articles from the vector database. So to clearly know what we are fetching, that's where we are specifying the fields here. So the title and the text. The title here would be the title of the basketball player and the text would be the information related to them. So then then what it does is it'll call the prompt method. The prompt method is where we are providing the template. So here, I think the diagram here will make more sense. So the prompt and the filtered responses that we are getting, we'll be sending that to our language model to get a customized response. So now if we see our example, uh, so it's giving us results like this. We have our basketball player's name, and these are the questions that it has given us. So this is about how we are using vector database. We can also use our own vector database and like do our search in using our own vector embeddings. We mentioned we'll be using the VV8 cloud. So VV8 is, we have the free version as well. So we just have to sign up this way?
So I think, if you have to sign up for the vector uh, database, one of your choices, would be this. I think you can go to this. Oh, sorry. You can, go to this particular website and then you can sign up for the 14-day trial. And I think once you have that, then you can go to your code out here, and then you can mention that key out here. So she has mentioned the key for the BB8, which is right out here. Okay. In this demo, there are multiple large learning models you can use, right? You said Google, right, Bard, there is ChatGPT, with the OpenAI. There is also something which is called Cohere. So if I go to Cohere website, so Cohere is another company. They also provide large learning models like ChatGPT. If you don't want to use, so you can, you know, like you said, that you don't know that which model will be right for me, right? Should I go with ChatGPT or Cohere or, Hugging Face or Palm or Llama or Lambda? Now you have this other problem that which large language model guy have to use. So I'm letting you know, I just found out last week that another company which is called uh, prediction.io. What they do is that they will figure out that which large language model will give you the right answer. So I think there is a lot of things going on in a quarter mind. If somebody wants to go with this particular, if somebody wants to try this out, they can go to this uh, th- this whole code. I think if you can run this whole code successfully, and me and Shruti are out here to basically, help you with it, you will then completely understand how to use a VectorDB, how to move data to VectorDB, how to do, different searches, right? So like keyword search, if I go down out here, you have the vector search, classic word search, hybrid search, generative searches. You will know all sort of search you can do. So I think this is something, and all this is available on our GitHub URL. So if you go to, can you just quickly show the GitHub? So if you just go to the GitHub, either you can go to this link, or if you just go to, github.com and search for Royal Cyber, Inc., you will get this particular generative search demo. And then once you will get this code, then you just run it. You just have to put these two keys in there. One is for the VB8, and then one is for the Cohere. And both of these keys are available for about 15 days trial. Thank you so much. Everybody for joining the call. It's about 1:15 now almost. So thank you. I will be here, Shorty will be here. So, if you have any other, questions, please let us know. Thank you so much for that.